If your business is considering colocation, you've probably already noticed something. Every provider sounds impressive. Everyone talks about uptime, security, connectivity, and reliability. But once you start comparing providers, it quickly becomes difficult to work out what actually separates one from another. That's where having a good RFP can make all the difference. Hi, I'm Nick Prosser with Data Center Hunter, and in today's video, we're going to walk through a practical B2B RFP checklist that can help you compare colocation providers more effectively and make a more informed decision for your business. Let's get started. Start with your business requirements. Before you ask providers any questions, take a step back and define what your business actually needs. That might sound obvious, but it's one of the most overlooked parts of the process. Think about where your business is today. Then think about where you expect it to be over the next 3 to 5 years. How much space do you need? How much power do your systems require? Are you expecting significant growth? The clearer you are about your own requirements, the easier it becomes for providers to give you meaningful answers instead of generic marketing responses. Hey, before we move on, I'm assuming the reason you're watching this video is because you're searching for data center and colocation services. I want to remind you about our free consulting service to help you figure out which solutions on the market are best for you. We represent all the major data center service providers in the USA, and we're paid by referrals only, so our consulting service is absolutely free. If you'd like my help, all you have to do is visit our website at www.datacenterhunter.com, where you can request help from my team and I on our Contact Us page. Filling out the form is simple and just takes a couple of minutes. So, if you're looking for data center services for your business, we can help. A link to our website is also in the description below this video. Think carefully about the location. Location is another area that's often more important than businesses initially realize. It's not just about finding the closest data center. You also want to understand how that location supports your business. How close is it to your offices? How easily can your team access the facility if needed? What's the surrounding infrastructure like? It's also worth asking providers about local risks. How do they manage weather events? Has the area experienced significant power outages? Are there any environmental risks that should be considered? These are all reasonable questions to include in your RFP. Understand your space and power requirements. You'll want to discuss capacity. Ask providers how much rack space they can offer today and how easily that can increase as your business grows. Power is equally important. How much power is available per cabinet? Can they support higher density deployments if your infrastructure changes over time? Growth rarely happens overnight, but it's much easier when your provider already has a clear expansion path available. Look closely at connectivity. Connectivity is one of the biggest reasons businesses move into colocation. Your RFP should ask providers about the network options available within the facility. How many carriers are available? Can you choose your own provider? How easy is it to add additional connectivity as your business grows? If cloud connectivity is important to your organization, this is also a good time to ask what options are available. You're looking for flexibility, not restrictions. Ask about physical security. Security goes well beyond locked doors. Ask providers how they control access to the building. Who can enter the data halls? How are visitors managed? Are security systems monitored around the clock? It's also worth understanding how often those security procedures are reviewed and tested. A good provider should have no difficulty explaining how they protect customer infrastructure, discuss uptime and service levels. Every provider talks about reliability. Your RFP should encourage them to explain exactly what that means. What uptime do they guarantee? How is that measured? What happens if they don't meet those commitments? You should also ask about maintenance. How are planned maintenance activities handled? How much notice do customers receive? What procedures are in place if something unexpected happens? The quality of these answers often tells you far more than the marketing material ever will. Review compliance and certifications. For many businesses, compliance is an important part of the evaluation process. Ask providers which certifications they maintain. Are they independently audited? Can they provide documentation to support their claims? If your organization operates in a regulated industry such as healthcare, finance, or government, make sure the provider has experience supporting businesses with similar requirements. Evaluate support and operational staff. A data center isn't just about the building, it's also about the people operating it. Ask whether the facility is staffed 24 hours a day. What technical support is available on site? What remote hand services do they offer if you need assistance outside normal business hours? How quickly can someone respond? When something unexpected happens, having experienced people available can make a significant difference. Finally, let's talk about cost. Price is obviously important, but it's equally important to understand exactly what you're paying for. Ask providers to clearly explain their pricing, what's included, what costs extra, how are cross-connects billed, are there setup fees, how does pricing change if your requirements grow over time. It's also worth asking about contract renewals and any potential exit charges. Transparent pricing is usually a good sign that a provider values long-term customer relationships. Once you've gathered responses, the next step is comparing them side by side. Look beyond the headline pricing. Which provider understood your business requirements? Which one gave detailed, practical answers? Which responses felt clear and transparent? And which ones relied mostly on marketing language? At this stage, you should be able to narrow your list down to 2 or 3 providers before arranging follow-up meetings or facility tours. That usually gives you a much clearer picture of which provider is the best fit. When you step back and look at the entire process, choosing a colocation provider isn't simply about finding available rack space. It's about finding a long-term infrastructure partner. The better your RFP, the better the conversations you'll have with providers. And the better those conversations are, the more confident you'll be when it's time to make a decision. Let me ask you something. If you were sending out a colocation RFP today, what's the one question you would absolutely want every provider to answer? Let us know in the comments below. If you're currently looking for colocation service, I'd like to remind you that we represent all of the data center service providers in the United States, and we guarantee that you'll get the lowest pricing when working with us versus shopping providers directly. Remember, our consulting service is 100% free, and you can request help on our website via the link below this video. If you found the video insightful, hit the like button, and feel free to let us know your opinion about today's topic in the comments below. This is Nick Prosser with Data Center Hunter, and I'll see you again in the next video.